seen people from Pakistan and the Gulf migrating to Canada recently. Do you ever wonder about your chances of going to Canada, immigrating to Canada, studying in Canada? Well, my name is Yashpa and we're here to answer all of your questions today. I have Miss Alina Azam that's going to answer all of your questions for you. Miss Alina, how are you today?
Hi Yash, I'm good. How are you doing?
Lovely to hear, Miss Alina. As you know, Canada has been quite the hot topic recently, so I was wondering what candidates are eligible to apply for the skilled immigration program.
Okay, so there are certain factors which Canada takes into account when they evaluate candidates for skilled immigration, primarily age, education, your work experience, your English proficiency levels, if you have a job offer from Canada, if you have siblings who are Canadians. And then I can also tell you about an ideal candidate profile. So in terms of age, anyone who's in their 20s till their mid 30s would get the maximum points for age. For education, a master's is mandatory. For the main applicant, if it's a family application, then the spouse should also have a master's. Now, to gauge your English proficiency, there's an English proficiency test by the name of IELTS, which a lot of people know about. You have to score a CLB 9, which is 7s and 8s in speaking, reading, writing, and listening. And if you're able to have these three factors in place for yourself and your spouse, you will most likely qualify for express entry.
So we see almost all international students landing PR in Canada. How does a study visa or a study permit turn into an immigration exactly?
Okay, so students who go to Canada become eligible for a postgraduate work permit after their graduation. Now, it depends on the duration of the course. Some courses which are, let's say, more than 2 years in duration makes them eligible for a 3-year work permit. If you're going for a year-long diploma or a postgraduate certification, that would basically lead you to a 1-year-long postgraduate work permit. Now, studying in Canada and working there gets you extra points for immigration. So, and you enter another category of skilled immigration, which is called the Canadian Experience Class. And then eventually, the 3rd year, you can apply for express entry and you get your PR.
Wonderful. That's a lot of information. That's a lot of good information. So now that you've mentioned it, between the express entry and the provincial system, like you just mentioned, what is the difference between the two?
Okay, so express entry is actually immigration, which is from the federal government of Canada. That means you can, in layman terms, it would mean you can go and land anywhere in Canada, irrespective of what province or what city you're going to. If you go through a provincial nomination, you have to reside in that province for a period of up to 2 years, after which you can move again. You can go, to any other province afterwards. The added factor of provincial nomination is that sometimes candidates do not have enough points to qualify for the federal program. So if they're able to have provincial nomination, if a province nominates them, that gets them extra 600 points on the system. So your score jumps up drastically and you get an invitation to apply for PR right away.
As you were talking about added benefits, when most people think about taking education abroad, they think about UK or US or Australia for that matter. So why Canada? What sets it apart? Why Canada?
Okay, so it depends. It depends on how people take it, because US, UK, and Australia have been very popular in terms of immigration. Canada is something which has just come up now and is gaining popularity right now. One of the main reasons for that is, all these countries have their own issues, this political instability, or they're actually making their systems tighter now to get immigration. So you would have heard about a lot of students who go to the UK and the US, and they're back to their home countries after a year or so because they're not able to land and get their immigration. So Canada is, I think, one of the only countries currently which still has an easy system of getting through. You have the skilled immigration. If you don't qualify, you can either go through a province, you can go through a study permit, you could land a job offer, and you could still work your way through. That's one. Secondly, Canada is an immigrant-friendly country. There are, like I said, other countries have other issues. When you go into a country which is not very welcoming, that's a big factor which people consider when they're moving. So Canada has a rich culture. There are people from all over the world there. It's easier to settle in for families, for kids, irrespective of what background, what ethnicity you're coming from, because they welcome you as one nation, as Canadians. So that is something which makes Canada stand out from countries like the US and the UK specifically. Even Australia is tough.
That's great. That's very convincing. So last thing before we leave, I would like to ask you about how work permits work. How does that work? Because that's a very frequent question that people have.
So there are three kinds of work permits which can get you into Canada. The first one is the postgraduate work permit, which you become eligible for right after your graduation. Now the duration of that work permit would depend on the duration of your course of studies. So if you go for a 1-year diploma, you get a 1-year work permit. If you go for any program which is more than 2 years in duration, you get a 3-year work permit after that. The second kind of work permit is called an open work permit, which is mainly for people, for spouses of international students. So if your spouse is studying in Canada, you can accompany them on an open work permit, which primarily means you are free to work with any employer in any occupation in any city or province of Canada. And the duration of that permit is the same as the duration of your spouse's study program. The third kind of work permit is the LMIA based work permit, which is approved by the Government of Canada, by the Labour Department, and is sponsored by the employer. So these are mainly the three kinds of work permits which can get you into Canada.
Brilliant information. Thank you so much, Ms. Alina, for being here. This was great for optimistic students like us. Okay, so if you guys have any more specific questions, feel free to reach out to Ms. Alina, because all immigration cases are case specific, so you can get your profile assessed by them. Thank you.